Hey everyone, your body code practitioner out here in Lehi, Utah, and I wanted to do a live here. I usually do a video, but I'm gonna start doing live. That way, maybe I can catch some of you guys watching the video. And I wanted to do obviously your favorite book here, which is The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And I wanted to make a video to continue the process of reading from page to page. Usually we were doing 1 to 5 last time. We're gonna do 6 to 10, and we're going to talk about any type of experience that I have in the 4 years, 4.5 years. I want to be able to share my input. So I don't want to talk too much because obviously the introduction I did in the first 5 pages. So I kind of want to jump into it for those of you who are listening back to back. I don't want to talk too much. I just want to get right into the reading and see if we can talk about some things. And so if you have any comments, feel free to leave one below. Maybe I can answer a few questions. Like I said, I'm not, I'm not endorsed by Discover Healing, and I'm not, I don't want to speak on their behalf. I'm just going to speak from my heart and from my personal experience, for what I've seen in the last, again, 4.5 years, and just add my input to it. Maybe you guys can grab something, take some gold here, take some gold there, and it can help you out with your practice, or maybe it can help you out with a client of yours, and maybe a client's watching this and maybe they learned something new. So let's get started. We're on page 6 here, and we're going to do is this is so we started off and we left off at the emotional experience in a nutshell. And so I want to comment about when I say I'll make a side note of something, I'll let you know. So anyway, so here goes. The first thing is 3 things happen when we experience an emotion. This is page 6, by the way. First, our body generates the emotional vibration. Second, we begin to feel the emotion and any thoughts or physical sensations that come along with it. Third, we choose to let the emotion go and we move on after a few seconds to several minutes. The last step is called processing, and once it is completed, we have successfully moved on from the emotional experience and it shouldn't cause us any problems. And it says here, however, if either the second or the third step is interrupted, the emotional experience is incomplete and the energy of the emotion is likely to become trapped in the body. We do not yet completely understand all the reasons emotions are not processed completely. It appears that the more overwhelming or extreme an emotion is, the more likely you'll become trapped. There could be other reasons, such as weakness in the body or many old trapped emotions of similar vibration, but we will discuss those in more depth later on. I know Dr. Brad goes further into the fact that how many of you guys have had clients who tend to process a lot of things? Like, for example, when they go processing, remember there's a 20% chance that you may feel the emotion that you that got stuck there, and you might feel, let's say, what they call an echo. Well, they'll probably talk about it later here. But what I found interesting is I know at some point Dr. Brad's going to talk about how you tend to receive echoes if you are living in a situation or you were in a relationship where you weren't able to express your feelings. So because you couldn't express it at that time, it got stuck. So it's another reason. Not only did it say it's because it's an overwhelming or extreme emotion, but if you're like, hey, I have a client that I work with that she tends to receive echoes, and she grew up in like an Amish family, and it was kind of like she told me, she's like, it's almost like everyone used to say, "Suck it up, just suck it up," and so obviously not the best environment to express or emote. And so that's another reason why I can get trapped. And so when you're healing, when an energy healer works with you, you tend to feel that emotion almost like for the first time, the way you should have felt it when it happened to you when you were 7 years old or 11 years old. Or if you had a husband or a wife who says, oh gosh, here you go crying again, or here you go getting angry again, or whatever, but just kind of had sort of a tendency to not allow you to express your feelings, another reason why a trapped emotion may get created. So it's just something to think about. Now, what I like about that title, just here's, like I said, I'm going to call it Emmanuel's Side Note. Emmanuel's Side Note. I love how it says the emotional experience in a nutshell. I think it's really, really important to keep things really, really simple. People ask me all the time, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And I'm in the elevator. It's like, so what do you do for a living? Or I'm getting a haircut. What do you do? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Something that's becoming very, very common before you jump into I'm an emotion code, body code practitioner, because that to many people means nothing. So we have to kind of know we have language or vernacular that doesn't mean anything to society at all. And I think it's very important just to keep things very like what can we build a bridge with? And I think something very, very simple that a lot of people know about is energy healing. Just keep it really simple. What do? I do energy healing. Oh, you do? I would say 90% of the people that hear the words energy healing get very interested. They say, "Oh, like what kind? What do you like?" I have yet to meet the like what is that? I don't. I think we're living in a better age now where it's becoming more widely spread, and they probably have a few friends that do energy healing as well. And so don't be afraid to say energy healing, even to a Christian. I know it's kind of scary to say energy healing in front of a Christian, but the reality is, even Christians, I mean, I was just talking to someone just recently about it, that it seems like even the pastors, like for example, did you guys hear the news recently about, I mean, there's probably a lot of news about it, but here goes again, another pastor who dies of what? Or commits suicide because of what? Depression. So if he was so close to God and things were going great, there might have been some energies that he had, no will to live energies, will to die energies, stuff in the body code that maybe he suffered from like secret depression. But imagine how the congregation feels. Or what about the pastors who are dealing with some serious physical ailments, and if they just use the body code, they would be alleviated from it. So more and more people are saying, you know what? I feel like there's something lacking, and I need to be more open-minded. Anyway, what I like about this part where it says emotional experience in a nutshell is you want to keep everything very, very simple. If you haven't and you're an emotion code, body code practitioner, you should highly consider making a simple video about what is the emotion code. I know I have one, probably has over 55,000 views plus, but why don't you have one? How hard is it to explain the emotion code in just a quick 15 minutes? And when you're sending information out, you're sending it to your clients. So they see you on YouTube and they're like, wow, this person must be a what? A professional. And so I think it's really important just to don't be afraid to make your own video, your 10 to 15 minute video of what is the emotion code. Let's just flood the market. Let's just flood YouTube, and let's just send videos. I mean, I would rather send a video to a friend than have me explain it, to be honest, and then have them say, oh wow, he was so confident about his information, he made a YouTube video out of it. So anyway, let's keep going here. So what is a trapped emotion? As much as we would like to forget some of the emotionally difficult times we've been through, the influence of these events may stay with us in the form of trapped emotions. Sometimes we can consciously recall these challenging events, and sometimes we cannot. Whether you remember a painful event or not doesn't actually matter, because your subconscious mind does matter, and we can access that information by using the emotion code. Many people who have been through extreme trauma have blocked out years of their lives and remember almost nothing. But the emotion code allows us to bypass the conscious mind completely. Instead, we access vital information about trapped emotions from the subconscious mind. So think about this. It's interesting that I always make a joke with my clients, when they go, I think this has to do with my girlfriend, or we're looking at emotions and trapped emotions and ages. I think this has to do with my boyfriend, and I always make a joke. I'm like, that's your conscious brain. Your subconscious is like, for sure, it's your boyfriend. Are you kidding me? How could you forget the trauma that man caused you? But it's very interesting how I kind of make a joke about that. That of course your body and your subconscious remember exactly what that was, to the T, to the conversation, to the teardrops. Exactly. I even wanted to share that one of my old friends, he actually, I think he like fainted or something. Something happened where like he fainted in the bathroom. But as he fainted, he hit his head like on the toilet side, and he fell down on the ground. And he said for a second, he said he was able to recall all his memories, like in a flash, like all. And he says it was like downloads and downloads of his memories. And what's really interesting is that he was looking through that. Oh, thanks for the compliment, by the way. Appreciate that, Marlene. He said all these memories like started coming after him, and this is the crazy part. He remembered every conversation, like conversations he had with people a long time ago, and he was able to kind of see or sense that really hurt that person. And he started feeling remorse, going like, oh wow, I really shouldn't have said that. Oh wow, I can't believe I said that. Or he started having remorse about these memories that he saw. Or I was being too harsh with that person, or I should have gotten angry with her. Wow, it really affected her. And almost like the spirit could sense the energy of the other person, and he was having flashback after flashback after flashback. I think what he was tapping into is the subconscious. The subconscious, he was kind of like flying through the files of the subconscious, and which remembers every single conversation we've had. So I thought it was very interesting. And to me, what lesson can we learn from that is be careful what we say, be careful what we do. We don't know the full effect of how it's going to go away from us. And anyway, back to the book. Emmanuel, please stop ranting. Anyway, so each time you trap an emotion, you get stuck in the middle of whatever traumatic event you were experiencing. So instead of moving beyond your angry moment or a temporary bout with grief or depression, you retain this negative emotional energy within your body, potentially causing significant physical and emotional stress. Most people are amazed to find that their emotional baggage is more literal than they had imagined. Trapped emotions actually consist of well-defined energies that have a shape and form. Although they are not visible, they are very real. I love when Dr. Brad on stage, when he's working with someone, he says, does anyone want to know what it feels, what a trapped emotion feels like? And here's what he does. First of all, when he says, okay, so you have some trapped emotions here, let's release one. And he finds a trapped emotion. He's like muscle testing someone live, and he'll say, okay, is this trapped emotion on the bottom hemisphere of your body? And the arm's like, nope. He's like, okay, so is it the upper, like the waist and up? Body says yes. Is it like on the left side of the body? Nope. It's on the right side? Okay, it's on the right side. So what he'll do is he'll put his hand and he'll start going towards the right side of my body. Like, let's say like the right side of the body. He would go closer and closer and closer. And let's say I had my left arm out and he's kind of pushing down on it. What happens at some point when he actually touches the emotion, my arm would go weak. Like as soon as he touches it, it's just boom, goes weak. And then he goes away from it, and then it's strong again. So whenever, for whatever reason, whenever he touches the trapped emotion, his hand goes weak. And he says once he gets to that weak part, he knows he's feeling it. And he says it feels like a really cold wind, like a little, like someone kind of like lightly blowing on your hand. And so I thought that was very interesting. Later on, I've seen him do some body code work where just to show you how real it is, you can actually feel it. Once you can do some body code work, and I remember he found some, I believe it was like sort of like a makeup toxicity of some sort. It was like something to do with like environmental toxicity, and like you can have like chemicals from makeup, right? And it was affecting this woman, I believe, who was pregnant, or maybe she wasn't. But anyway, the point is that he says, I wonder where this energy is. He says, is it below? And the arm went down. Is it around the chest area? No, obviously, it's in the face. But then he did the whole hand thing. He's like, all right, let's see how strong it is. And there it was, like around here. It was like here. All of a sudden, boom, her arm went down. And it's like this is where the energy is. Like this little makeup energy that she was having was kind of like way out here. And then he released it, and then all of a sudden she didn't have it anymore. So again, these energies are so real. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. So it says Neil's resentment. In this story, a Canadian teacher shares how a difficult situation resulted in a trapped emotion that stayed with him, impacting his life in a negative way. Okay, a number of years ago when I was teaching school, the principal and I just did not get along at all. We fought almost from day one over one topic or another. She was extremely vicious, vindictive, emasculating in every way, shape, and form. Finally, about January of the school year, I bailed out. I saw my doctor and went on the stress leave. He said, take some time off and regroup and recuperate. So I did that for about 3 months. And at the end of 3 months, I went back to the school board with a clean bill of health, but with a proviso from the doctor that I was not to be back into the same situation with this rather nasty principal, probably because he would relapse. Anyway, the feelings surrounding her and that whole situation would never leave. They would well up often, and I would ruminate on the situation, thinking about it, and I would feel my blood pressure rising, and I would feel the anger and resentment, both trapped emotions, by the way, building up within me about the way I'd been treated and the fact that she never had any disciplinary measures, even though she had a history of being rather sinister, if you will, to teachers who disagreed with her approach to principalship. Anyway, this went on for 2 years. I couldn't sleep at night because I'd be so bent out of shape from all the negative feelings I was carrying. We were visiting Southern California and went and saw Dr. Bradley Nelson and went to his clinic. Wow, went to his clinic. That's cool. And he released this feeling of resentment, and when he did so, I actually felt something leave me. And from that point forward, even though I still don't like the woman, I don't have the negative feelings and the rising blood pressure, the anger, the resentment, which had possessed me for several years. So that's the story of an emotional blockage gone with these principles and the emotion code that Dr. Brad teaches. So this is Neil B. He wrote this little testimonial here. And I always just say in this case, I feel like when we have trapped emotions or we have any energies inside our body, I call it like our time machine. I think that the happiest that we are is when we are present with someone and we are not being reactive. But the reactivity, I believe, comes from, obviously, it's triggering some energy in our body. So it's like we're time traveling back. For example, let's say you have a woman that you're dating and you feel resentment. She may remind you of the resentment you felt 3 years ago because of how your wife treated you. So now you're time traveling back. And imagine if you were to actually time travel back to when your wife was being mean to you, and then imagine them time traveling forward into the future back to where you are. So just for it's almost like you stop time travel, boom, just fly back, and then you went back to your ex-wife being really mean to you, and oh my gosh, and then boom, you travel back to your situation. Imagine how much more reactive you would be. That's kind of what I always picture the emotion code is like. It cuts the cord for the time machine. So you stop going back there. Stop going back there and being more present. And okay, so let's see. Your future held hostage. We're on page 8 now. We're going to go up to page 10 and then we're done. All right, so page 8. Your future held hostage. Do you ever feel that you're struggling under the weight of something that you can't quite put your finger on? Perhaps your life is not turning out how you'd hoped. Perhaps your attempts to form lasting relationships never seem to work out. You may wish that certain events in your past had never occurred, but feel powerless to move beyond them. You may even have an uneasy feeling that your present is being held hostage by your past in some vague and undefinable way. All right, so Jennifer's self-sabotage. Jennifer's experience is a good example of how trapped emotions can get in your way. She was my daughter's close friend, a fun-loving college student with a bright future. On her way home for the summer, she stopped by to visit her family. Her college life was going well, but she expressed concern that events from her past still troubled her, and she wondered if she was suffering from trapped emotions. She told me that she'd been involved in a tumultuous relationship with a young man the year before, and that since the failure of that stormy relationship, she felt the sting of insecurity every time she met someone new. Time travel. Sorry. She had unfounded fear of commitment that she couldn't overcome, and she seemed to unintentionally sabotage every potential relationship she began. I tested her and discovered that there was indeed at least one trapped emotion that was contributing to her problem. I decided to help her learn to treat herself so she can continue to release her own trapped emotions and not need to rely on me. She quickly and easily learned the emotion code and proceeded to find several trapped emotions in her body, most notably the emotion of creative insecurity. Excuse me. So this particular emotion arises from a lack of confidence about creating things, painting a picture, starting a new job, or entering a new relationship. For example, Jennifer had experienced this emotion, here we go, in her prior relationship, and it had become trapped within her. She was able to release the creative insecurity along with a few other trapped emotions from her body within a few minutes, and then continue her drive home. A few days later, she called to tell me that she felt an amazing difference, a noticeable improvement in her ability to articulate her thoughts and express herself in the company of a particular young man whom she was dating. Previously, she had felt intimidated and shy around him, but after releasing her trapped emotions, she felt confident and very much at ease. Months later, she continued to watch the relationship grow. She felt certain that she would have sabotaged it if she had not released her trapped emotions. So here's what's interesting, guys. By the way, in regards to like being held back by love, one of the biggest things, number one thing that I would highly recommend if you're held back by love would be, are you ready? Drum roll. The heart wall. The heart wall is, I think, one of the biggest things holding you back in regards to love. The second thing, he probably just asked the question, is there anything that's causing the symptom of doing this? Is there anything causing this? And then he released he just used the emotion code chart, right? But even that, if you're a body code practitioner or you've never heard of the body code, which is the complete system of the emotion code, one of the most powerful things that Natalie and the team devised was this thing called Resonating Relationship Program. You can look it up on YouTube, Resonating Relationship Program, but it's a program that people can buy as a body code practitioner. And there's a couple of things that that you can, if you're with a partner, for example, you can say, do I resonate with my partner? Do I have harmony with my partner? And you can check, muscle test the percentage of how much you actually resonate. What does it mean to resonate? It means there's no baggage behind me that offends my partner. You might say, come on, does that really work? Well, when was the last time you went to some room and you, for some reason, when somebody walked in, you're like, I don't know about that person. I don't know if I like that person for some reason. That's not just some gut feeling. That's actually your body technically doesn't resonate with some baggage that person has. It's almost like he's carrying around a suitcase that's really ugly orange. You're like, ugh, that ugly orange suitcase. I don't know. And I think the thing is you can change that though. It's you can actually release all those energies. Let's say that person with the luggage can release those luggages or all that baggage. All of a sudden you like him. Hey, that guy seems like a pretty cool guy. So just beyond just releasing trapped emotions like Dr. Brad did, Dr. Brad obviously in the body code says it goes deeper than just trapped emotions. There's harmony with them. Another great question is, are you open to a loving relationship? If you're standing up right now, close your eyes and then just, you put your feet apart and say, I am open to a loving relationship. And then just kind of like see where you tilt. Yeah, if you tilt backwards, body's like, yeah, I don't feel safe with that. The last time you called it a loving relationship, what did that look like? Probably very traumatic. What about when you were young and you saw your parents fight? Yeah, loving relationship. Loving relationship equals contention. I'm good with that. Or what if you were in the womb and who knows, maybe the in-laws were being very mean to your mother, and then you were feeling this frustration inside of you. No, I don't do relationships or loving family relationships. I don't do that. So that's one of the first things I work with when I work with a client is, are you even open to a loving relationship? Most people, their body says, nope, sorry. And so technically they're walking around with their arms closed. But I tell them, hey, why don't you open up your heart first? Let's remove all the trauma first. And then let's have you with your arms open. And now the question is, how big do you want your arms to reach out for love? That's just more and more body code sessions. So you can go deeper into the love well and find out, find your soulmate, find your partner, resonate with them, have harmony with them. Feel peace that you've been cheated on, so you don't feel like you can't trust your partner. You can just, the sky's the limit in relationships with body code. But I love how simple they make it here. Just released a couple trapped emotions, and she felt better. So anyway, it says here, hopefully I didn't mess up here. Okay, so getting rid of your trapped emotions can help you in the same way. You too can overcome the obstacles of your past and bring new life to your marriage and other familial and personal relationships. When you are free of your trapped emotions, you will likely find yourself feeling more secure and motivated and liberated to create the relationship, career, and life you've always wanted. People frequently sense that you are somehow burdened by their past emotions, but they don't seem to know how to get over them. The traditional approach in Western society is generally to talk about the past and discuss coping mechanisms with a what? Therapist. While this is often helpful and can save lives, it does not address the trapped emotions directly, which means that the true root of the problem remains. Trapped emotions often drive people to self-medicate in various ways. You may find yourself working long hours, using drugs or drinking, thrill-seeking, or trying to solve everyone else's problems. Many people fail to perform up to their ability and have difficulty making their life work as they should. Oftentimes, the underlying cause of their frustration is a trapped emotion from a past event they may not realize is sabotaging their efforts. The next story is a perfect example of how this can just happen. So anyway, I just want to let you guys know, therapists have an amazing role. Some people do need to sort of relieve themselves or talk to someone about their issues, and there is a form of healing in that. But it's like, why not combine something that really works? a therapist and a practitioner. Kind of like healing about money and abundance, but reading books about it too. So you're not like a dummy that has the right energy. Is it possible that you have the right energy to like become very successful in stockbroker, but then you know zilch about being a successful stockbroker because you weren't coached, you didn't take the right classes? Yeah, you can be, like I said, you could be I hate to say this, but you could be like a motivated idiot. It's very important to do both. It's important to read about the trades and also receive the energy healing. If you need to vent and there's no one to talk to, get a therapist, but also know that there are still energies from that trauma that you're talking about to the therapist that are not resolved. That she doesn't take those energies away from you that make you reactive. Like, I've been feeling sad over this, there's probably sadness, trapped emotion in your body from that moment. And so basically a therapist could be like a band-aid, but what we're looking for, what the world's looking for, is not a band-aid. We're looking for long-term healing, change of character, improvement of frequency, to stop the relapse of feeling an emotion that you're tired of feeling. And that comes through the emotion code. Okay, so Julia, the court reporter. This is the last page here, guys. Hang on here. Julia was going to school to become a court reporter. She was excited about her job prospects. Court reporters learn to type on a specialized phonetic machine, and they have to type very rapidly and accurately to record everything said in the courtroom. Julia did fine in class, but whenever she had to take an examination, she would fail. She was very worried, as she failed the test 3 times and was afraid that her next examination would be her last chance to pass. I tested her to see if there was a trapped emotion that might be influencing her behavior in the testing situation. So you can even ask it that simple. Is there any trapped emotions I can release that are making you sad about this relationship? Are there any trapped emotions that we can release that are maybe causing you to have a headache? Are there any trapped emotions we can release that are giving you symptoms of IBS? So get used to just it. So a lot of people, practitioners, or even if you're doing this on your at home, you get too caught up in the vernacular. You get too caught up in like, what should I say? How should I word the statement? You can keep it that simple. Are there any imbalances that are causing blank? Are there any trapped emotions that are causing blank? And that's I love that. That's what he did here, actually, right in here. He said that. I tested her to see if there was a trapped emotion that might be what? Blank. Influencing her behavior in the testing situation. That's all. The body knew exactly what that was all about. And the answer her body gave was yes. In her case, the trapped emotion was discouragement. When she was 15 years old, she had gone through a difficult time when her parents were divorcing. Time machine, whoop, all the way back to the divorce. She had experienced overwhelming discouragement, which had become trapped in her body. In the testing situation with the pressure on, the trapped emotion of discouragement would sabotage her performance. We realized the trapped discouragement, and she sailed through her next test feeling relaxed and confident and received nearly a perfect score. Wowzers. So Julie had no idea that her parents' divorce and her old feelings about it could be affecting her negatively in the present. In the same way that the effects of the wind are felt rather than seen, trapped emotions are invisible, yet can exert a powerful influence upon you. Maybe even a hurricane, or sorry, that's me adding some stuff in there. But it is my experience that a significant percentage of self-sabotage, physical illness, and emotional difficulties are actually caused by these unseen energies. The next story is a powerful illustration. Guys, last story, okay? Here we go. Mark was a professional singer. He was having difficulties recording the last months. He kept saying his voice was not the same. He obsessed with having a lump in his throat, for which he constantly received antibiotics from his medical doctor. I told him that we could try a different approach. He agreed. The first emotion that came out was disgust from 6 months ago, related to his fiancée, and it was lodged in the larynx. He probably asked him, now that I see this, side note from Emmanuel, first emotion, he said he probably asked him, where is this located? Is this, and then they found out that it was located in the larynx. When I asked him what happened 6 months ago, he burst into tears, saying that this was the time when he discovered she was cheating on him. At that time, he remembered that in the same period, he started having voice problems. After we released about 4 emotions related to that event, so there was 4 of them, he was feeling way better. And the same day, he went to the studio and recorded flawlessly. So great story there. So we're done. We're going to be starting on page 11 here, and I'm going to be reading 11 to 16 next time. We're going to go 5 pages at a time. Hopefully, if you have any questions below or anything, like I said, I'm not I'm not like the Discover Healing representative, but like I said, my experience definitely in the field. I've seen a lot of things. I've kind of witnessed many different changes, things that worked, things that didn't work, like, more accurate ways to help people and things like that. So if you have any questions below, feel free to comment. Also, if you're brand new on this channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm excited. I've been waiting for this book for a while, for the new revised one. And trust me, guys, if you're not a practitioner, you need to email me at compasshealing2019@gmail.com. Go ahead and email me and say, hey, I might be interested in doing this, because the reality is we're in for a ride, guys. I know some things that, hey, Elise, how's it going? Hey, Erica. Hey, guys, from South Africa. Glad you guys could be here. I just want to let you guys know that you guys have no idea what's coming. I wish I could tell you what Brad and Gene told me at lunchtime in Salt Lake City, but let's just say that we're in for a ride. Already these books are all over the airport. It's probably gonna get a ton of reviews. If you haven't written a review, let's help out Brad, and after we're done with the book, let's write a review, and let's get his book to be, number one. All I know is there's gonna be collaborations with Tony. Might be a potential movie coming out. Guys, this is the best time to look into this work, because you could be in the beginning where you can definitely benefit and sort of be kind of like what they call a pioneer in this type of work. You can say, I was there when the new revised book came out, and then everyone started talking about it, and I was a practitioner, and my family had success, and I've helped a lot of families do very well. So don't miss out on this opportunity. This is like a little wave coming in, and I think I don't want anyone to miss it. Okay, so with that, I love you guys. Thank you so much for following Compass Healing. Share this with a friend. Put this on your Facebook. Show this on your Instagram. Let people know that we're doing a read with this. Even if you start a book club, why not start a Facebook group, and then you can put my videos on there, and I can guide you guys along. So take care. As I always like to end my video by saying this, that the world has this false notion where I'll take care of you if you take care of me. But if we take care of ourselves, then we can authentically take care of someone else. And if we take care of ourselves, we can change our home, we can change our city, we can change our country, and then we can change the world. So with that, namaste, love you guys, and we'll be in touch soon. And look forward to communicating with you. Take care. And feel free to add me on Facebook, Compass Healing, or Emmanuel's